let's now focus on the language. Well, Indonesian and English are different, and the major difference is that Indonesian is about 100% phonetic. Phonetic. Now, what does that mean? That means when the language is spoken, the written form is exactly the same. If you hear a word in Indonesian, you can write it down without a mistake. Not so English. English is very unphonetic. There are reasons for this, and one of the reasons could be Dr. Johnson. Now, who's Dr. Johnson? Well, he was a cat in the... Sorry, I mustn't use the slang. He was a venerable, wonderful scholar in the 18th century, and he compiled the first ever English dictionary. But by doing so, he sort of froze certain spellings. Now, up to then, people would spell in their own way. It was changing. You know, language is always alive. Language is always evolving. And he sort of froze certain spellings which do not really accord with the way the language is spoken. So if we'd have waited about 200 years when mass media, mass communications came up, say with the BBC, you would probably have the BBC standardizing a more logical phonetic spelling. I mean, there's nothing sacred about these weird spellings. It's just that that's the way they are, that they exist. And unfortunately, there's no getting away from the fact that we do have to learn them. Just for fun, and we're going to use some songs and videos and jokes in the series because I find that gives a relaxed atmosphere, and Indonesians love jokes, they love music, and we're going to show a clip from Blackadder. Blackadder, the star is Ron Atkinson, who you probably know as Mr. Bean. Well, they made this marvelous comic series in which a member of the Blackadder family takes part in various aspects of British history, and when we get to the 18th century, here we have Dr. Johnson. So let's watch the clip with Dr. Johnson and with Blackadder being rather naughty and teasing poor Dr. Johnson by pretending to have come across new words that the poor doctor has not put in his marvelous magnum opus.
Here it is, sir, the very cornerstone of English scholarship. This book, sir, contains every word in our beloved language.
Every single one, sir?
Every single word, sir.
Oh, well, in that case, sir, I hope you will not object if I also offer the doctor my most enthusiastic contrafibularities. Contrafibularities, sir? It is a common word down our way. Oh, I'm sorry, sir. I'm anaspeptic, phrasmotic, even compunctious to have caused you such pericombobulation.
What are you all about, Blackadder? This is all beginning to sound a bit like Dago talk to me.
I'm sorry, sir. I merely wished to congratulate the doctor on not having left out a single word. Shall I fetch the tea, Your Highness?
Yes, yes. And get that damn fire up here, will you?
Certainly, sir. I shall return interphrastically.
So, Dr. Johnson, sit you down. Now, this book of yours. Tell me, what's it all about?
It is a book about the English language, sir.
Now, another enormous difference between our two languages is the verb, the kata kerja. In Indonesian, it's easy. The form of the verb does not change according to time or function as it does in English. Saya datang hari ini, ya. Mereka datang kemarin, dia datang, ya. Kami selalu datang, ya. Datang, datang, datang. It's the same, never changes. So easy. We indicate time by an adverb of time, by like sudah, besok, yeah, akan. And that is wonderfully simple, but English has evolved to create about 14 different tenses, depending on the time and the function. And we're going to begin with learning some of these tenses because it is an important area. And we're going to begin with the first tense, which is called the present simple tense. Now, the form of the present simple tense is quite simple. I speak, you speak, he, she, it speaks, we speak, you speak, they speak. Now listen again. Is there any difference between what we can call the base form, the infinitive speak? I speak, you speak, he speaks, she speaks, it speaks, we speak, you speak, they speak. Yes, for he, she, and it, for the third person, we have to put an S on the end. It's completely illogical, but that's the way it's evolved. And if you omit the S, you sound, you don't sound like, you sound like you're still a beginner. And it's not really fair. Now, the way I teach sometimes is just to trigger the student. So if the student says he speak the language, I would go, being a bit naughty, trigger, shock the student into saying he speaks the language. We're now going to listen to a chant, and a chant is a rhythmic string of words without music. But it's rhythmic and it helps us remember. And chants are used in all aspects of life. For example, religion. Yeah. So we have the zikr. Yeah? La ilaha illallah. La ilaha illallah. La ilaha. Hallelujah. 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 Om mani padme hum. Om mani padme hum. It fixes the sound, the meaning, the sound, in your inner feeling. Music, language, sound, goes straight to the feeling. That's why when you're learning a language, you should learn the oral form first. Yeah, the audio form first. Go straight into the English. Into the inner feeling. I used to study a major mystic called Gurdjieff, and according to his theory, we do have some higher centers besides our normal centers. We have a higher emotional center and a higher intellectual center, but the link is between the normal emotional center and the higher emotional center. Well, let's leave that for, that's a bit too esoteric. But by learning, by listening to and by speaking the language, this is the fastest way to begin it. So here are some chants. Now I'm going to talk about my friend Mike, and so here's a chant which practices the present simple tense third person. And it's about my friend Mike. And Mike always rides his bike. So follow the chant and also follow my body language. Mike always rides his bike. Mike always rides his bike. Mike always rides his bike because he likes it. He likes it. So let's do it together. So the first time you clap to the right, then you clap to the left, and then you do a thumbs up. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Mike always rides his bike. Mike always rides his bike. Mike always rides his bike because he likes it. He likes it. So you see, it's the third person. So what is the function? The function is habitual action every day. Always rides his bike. We also have another friend, Jane. And Jane never takes the train, even if it's the bullet train between Bandung and Jakarta. She still, for some reason, she never takes the train because she hates it. So let's do Jane, right? Jane never takes the train. Jane never takes the train. Jane never takes the train because she hates it. She hates it. Let's do that together, right? Jane never takes the train. Jane never takes the train. Jane never takes the train because she hates it. She hates it.